It's Friday. Okay. Don't know what's going on with my pigtails, but don't mind me. Don't mind me. What? Okay. I don't know why it's doing that. Hi, Cho. Hi, Sparrow. Okay, so I always feel like I must say this disclaimer. I usually wait for a few minutes. So what I've decided to do now is that I should log on like 2 minutes before 6 so that I can wait for the 2 minutes for anybody who's getting a notification to come on before I start. So it's a minute before 6 now. At 6 I will start. Otherwise, how are you guys doing? Are you doing any reading? What are you currently reading? Or how did your reading week go? Hi, Mpile. So I'm saying I'm waiting till 6, but maybe since Mpile is here, I can show you guys the books she got me. So I met Mpile yesterday, Bukomuso, and she had 3 books for me. So she got me the manuscript found in Accra by Paulo Coelho, and she got me another Paulo Coelho book, The Pilgrimage, and she got me Rich Dad, Poor Dad by Robert. I always forget his surname. Kiyosaki. I am so psyched for these books. Oh, I see. She's reading Naledi, His Love, and she's laughing because we are reading together and she's not meant to be on that book. So we're reading the Hlomo series together. We are on book 2, but she's decided that she's already on book 3. It's fine. It's okay. Okay, hi guys. So it's the regular Friday reads. Hi, Disebo. Is it Disebo? I hope I'm saying your name right. Hi, Disebo. So it's the usual Friday reads. I'm just gonna show you guys what I managed to finish in the week that's just ended today, and then what I mean to read in the week that's coming up. Obviously, Friday reads focuses on the books that you want to hone into during the weekend. However, I always share the books that I mean to dabble into during the week as well. So let's start with the books that I finished. Thank you. Let's start with the books that I finished last week. Hi, puppy. So last week I finished 3 books. So this one was sent to me by Jonathan Ball Publishers. It's called The Ultimate Guide to Working from Home. It was a very easy, quick read. It is very or rather it's got an academic tone to it, but she's really simplified it. Obviously, because we've been working from home since COVID started, we don't really need to get a guide, but I do think that it really helps for you to navigate your environment and to see what you need to set up better or what you need to do more of. So I like how Grace has written this. It's very simplistic, it's straight to the point, and it's something that also caters for people who are living in shared environments, as well as people who are parents who also need to navigate their children being home. My children are still home. They're only going to go back to school next year. So I liked that about this book. Otherwise, it's very short. Like I'm saying, I think it's less than 100 pages. Straight to the point, easily written, even though it has academic references, and I really enjoyed it. And the second book that I finished during the week was The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe, which is book 2, which is book 2 in the Chronicles of Narnia series. You guys know that I'm trying to work my way through this, and I'm on book 2. There are 7 books in total. So I won't say every week because there are weeks where I don't have an appetite for it, but I'm trying to read at least 1 book every week. The books are not that long as well, which is quite great. I am reading along on Audible. So that's also helping, but like I'm saying, some weeks I really don't have the appetite for it, and it's a weird thing because since I decided to read African literature this year, like to really focus on it, because I was not really I'm a diverse reader. I pride myself in that, but I really did want to read a lot from the continent this year. And I think the more you consume of a certain type of writing, the more you don't have an appetite for another type of writing, and I think that's what's happening with me. But C.S. Lewis C.S. Lewis is a legend worth having on your shelf, and these are stories that your children will definitely gain some pearls from, in if they're young in the future, if they're not so young right now. So it is a story that I do think that you should have on your shelf, and especially because it does take a lot from like the biblical story, and I really am enjoying that aspect of it. So I finished The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. That's the second book that I finished during the week, and I'm gonna start the third book. And I managed to finish The Shadow King. This gave me like such a hard time. This book gave me such a hard time, and it was so sad because this is such a beautiful book. This is such a beautiful story of women in the midst of conflict. Like I absolutely love the story, but it was a different type of read, and I think the way that she writes on paper is something that is, I want to say it's not an acquired taste. It's something that's, sorry guys, it almost jaws you a bit because of the way in which she writes. I don't know if that makes any sense to you guys, but she's an excellent person with language. Maaza has done the most, and also her use of literary devices is on point. And when you then listen to somebody, the reason why I was saying on paper, when you listen to somebody reading the book with you, it eases that process. I was saying to my little sister, as well as to somebody else who had asked me about the book and the Audible version of it, that is not the kind of audio that you listen to without a hard copy. You definitely need to experience both together, because there is something wonderful that she does with the written aspect of the story. And like I'm saying, the mechanisms she uses in her writing are only visible on paper. They're not, you can't hear them in audio, if you get what I'm trying to say. So you need to have that brought together. Otherwise, I absolutely loved this. This was a 4.5 stars for me. I think I did tell you guys earlier this week that I was struggling with all the names that she had in the story, and I realized the more I read that it was very intentional on her part, and I salute her for wanting every single person who had a role to play to be named. And I think that's her message in essence, that name the people that fought for liberation in these different countries in Africa, and for you to also remember them, you need to name them. And those, if you haven't read this book, I hope I don't spoil that part, but those are the Shadow Kings, the people that's are forgotten and fight in the sidelines but make a huge difference. And I think she did a sterling job with telling that kind of story on here. So I absolutely loved this. I know I've gone on and on, but it was definitely a beauty. I didn't tell you how much I scored the other books. I think I scored the Working From Home one 3 out of 5, and I scored The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe a 5 out of 5. Okay, so those are the books that I read during the week. The books that I want to read this week. Let me start with what I'm buddy reading with Ompile and Bookish Nontli is Zandile the Resolute, the second book in the Hlomu series. I didn't touch it last week because I was really focused on The Shadow King. I am on page 61. And I want to be able to touch this weekend. So, yeah, I should be touching this one this weekend. I am also still reading heavy. I didn't open it last week. I'm on page, I just want to let you guys know, 80. I'm on page 80 of that. If all goes well, I'll finish it in the next week. And then I am picking up our book club pick for the month of October. For the month of October, for the Vuvu Vena Reads book club over on Facebook. And this is Chigozie Obioma's The Fisherman. It's his debut novel, which was also shortlisted for the Man Booker Prize when it came out. So that's what we're reading this month, and I can't wait to tuck in. And likely it's not too big, so I want to start it during the week. And currently this weekend is obviously, like I stated in the morning, dedicated to The Gold Diggers by Sue Nyathi. I just want to tell you guys that I'm only on page 18, and I've already cried. I feel a little bit shocked that it's 18 pages in, and I think I was on page 13 when I almost bawled my heart out already, and I'm like, I don't understand. Everybody's saying this is such a great book. Oh my god, you gotta read it, etc., etc., and they're saying it's fire and it's sad at the same time, and I'm like, I don't know if I'm ready. I really don't know if I'm ready, but I'm here and I'm committed. I want to finish this one this week. I'm sorry, this weekend. So I'm gonna try and get halfway through tonight and then finish the rest tomorrow. So that's what I'm reading. What are you guys reading while I catch up with your comments? Hi everyone that I didn't greet while you were coming in. Papi's asking how are you finding the Zulu wives? I think that's what you're asking. So obviously we love Hlomo because she was the first Zulu wife that we were introduced to. I love her. I love her feistiness. I love the fact that she's in a world of her own, and sometimes she's sweet, but she can be very bitchy as well. I like that about her. I like the fact that she has that duality about her. We've just been introduced to Xoli. I like because she seems very wholesome to me. She's the sane one, but she's also the soft one. I like that about her. I hope we don't find out something different about her, because we know how these men can also transform these women. So I don't know. And as for Zandile, I loved her on book one, even with that little glimpse of who she was. But I'm only at the beginning of the book. What I've seen of her, though, I am really, really enjoying. I do think that I like the women more than I like the brothers, but I also think that the pairing of the women makes a lot of sense. I like how she coupled the brothers so far. Hi, Simoli. Oh yes, poetic high, I want to say. Yes, I absolutely love the Chronicles of Narnia, and I love its simplicity as well. And I guess obviously it is a children's book. He did write it for his goddaughter, but I think that even as adults you could find a lot of pearls in it. And I love simple books. I really don't think that books need to be complicated, especially if it's targeted at kids. So I'm really enjoying it so far. Bogomusa says, I'm reading An American Marriage slowly via Scribed along with the book. I've also got that book, but I haven't gotten around to it. You must let me know what you think about it. I did spoil. Sorry, Pabi. I'm so sorry. Bogomusa says, I have a feeling Naledi His Love is going to be my favorite. Guys, I can't believe she's gone ahead and read that book before she was meant to, but it's fine. I love The Fisherman. I've heard great things about it. I see that there's a little bit of a, I don't want to say it's a scandal, but I love the premise of what the book is said to be built on. So there should be something there that's quite juicy to get into. Poetica says I think it's a she just finished Transcendent Kingdom. I got Homegoing. I haven't started it, and Transcendent Kingdom recently. I can't wait to get into Jassie's work, because I've heard great things about her as well. I really can't wait. Sporo says she's about to start The Fisherman in the next hour. Yay! Book club. Poetica says not sure what's next, so you don't know what you're gonna read next. What are your options? Maybe we can help you choose. Ompile says, so the audiobook An American Marriage is nicer with the reading, when you're reading the actual book, enjoying it that way, because I couldn't get into the physical book. Yes, and I think that for me also, I found that I'm enjoying audiobooks of physical books that I've actually got. But if like we're gonna talk about there is one audiobook that I listened to audiobook only, which was The Flat Share. I could do that because of the nature of the story that was being told. It didn't require too much from you. You could listen to it while you were working even, and you still caught on to what the story was all about. But there are certain stories that you really need to focus, and sometimes hearing something, for me, I also listen to music sometimes when I read, so sometimes hearing something also assists you in the focusing, I think. And I think that's the advantage of audiobooks that I've come to find, but I don't think that I'd ever be comfortable just listening to an audiobook of a book that I have a physical copy of. Pabi says, I hear the Gold Diggers takes one on a roller coaster ride. Dude, like I'm saying, I've already cried. On page 13, I was crying. I really can't. Pabi says, no, I was saying you love spoilers. I can't. So I'm always so scared. I always make a disclaimer because I am easily spoiled. So if I see something, especially reviews, I always look at reviews after I've read the book, because if I see even the slightest thing that could tell me what could happen, I'm gone. I struggle to get into the book after that. Pile says Dudu has done a great job painting a good picture between the different couples and the single brothers as well. She's good with that. Yes. And the thing is that her brilliance also, I think, lies in the fact that she got all these people that looked alike to fall in love and still made us see their differences. I don't know if that makes sense. That's something that is worth commending. Yeah, she did well with that. Poetikai says The Shadow King or Ngungi Waitongo novel. I've never read, I wanted to read for the Kenyan readathon, My Petals of Blood by Ngungu. I'm looking at it there, I'm side-eyeing it. And I didn't get into it because I was having so many other books that I needed to get to. But I haven't read from him. I would say, because of all the buzz, read The Shadow King. And because I've just finished it, read The Shadow King. Thumbs up for The Shadow King, I'd say. Ompile says, I also did that listening to Issa Rae's Diary of an Awkward Black Girl. That was my first audiobook listen. Issa Rae is super fun. Yes, I enjoyed her series actually. What is it called now? Insecure. I really enjoyed it. I'm now obsessed. I should listen to that actually. That sounds like fun. I really liked her on the series. Hi Dineo. Hi Charlie. Poetikai says, one of the over 100 books on my TBR. Stick to Shadow King. Read The Shadow King. You will enjoy it. But like I'm saying, a lot of people who are reading it for the book club are really feeling like the pace and how they are pacing themselves is a little bit difficult, but it is a good read, so you won't regret it. So I'm just recapping for everybody who's come on. The books I managed to finish last week are The Ultimate Guide to Working from Home by Grace Paul. I gave this one a 3 out of 5 stars because I liked how it was practical. It is a guide, like it says. You could always go back to it, and I like how it included various people's settings in the sense that people who are sharing homes, as well as moms who have kids in the home or dads who have kids in the home, as well as people who are working in solitude in their homes. So that made sense. I liked that. The second book I read was The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe by C.S. Lewis. I am going through the Chronicles of Narnia series, and that is book 2 in the series. There are 7 books in here. This one was an easy 5 out of 5. It's a legendary book. There's nothing else we could have given it. And then I finished The Shadow King by Maaza Mengiste, which is a book club pick for 2 of my book clubs that I'm in. And this one I gave a 4.5 out of 5 stars. It is very good. It is worth your while. I know a lot of people are struggling to get through it, but I promise you it will pay off. It is really worth your while. And this week/weekend, I want to get into The Gold Diggers by Sue Nyathi. This one I want to finish this weekend. The Fisherman, which is this month's book club pick for the Vuvu Vena Reads book club by Chigozie Obioma. It's a Nigerian author. And then I also want during the week to read Heavy and finish it. I am into the book, about 80 pages into the book. I want to finish it next week. And I want to also finish Zandile the Resolute, which I'm buddy reading with Bukamuso and Bookish Nontli. So that's that. Let's hear what the rest of you are reading if you just got into the live. Charlie says, Ish, I didn't get into The Shadow King. I think I'll read it next year. You know what? You're not the only person, and this is the thing that's fascinating me, because sometimes when you interact with books, you want to ask yourself, why aren't you getting into a certain book? Is it because of a timing issue? Is it because you're really not in the mood for that kind of genre? Is it because it's a difficult read, or what could be the reason? And it's fascinating me that so many of us are saying the same thing about this specific book. And like I'm saying, I don't think that I would have managed to read the physical copy without getting into the audio as well. So I was reading along, and that made it a lot easier for me. Um, yes, the 100 books on our TBR list is everybody who's collecting books. It almost gives you anxiety sometimes, right? Because you're looking at all these books that you've got, and you're looking at all these books that are coming out, and you want everything, and if you can, you get everything. And then when you're faced with everything, you're like, what do I read? I can't read all of you at the same time. um See, Simone is also saying she's struggling with the Shadow King, which is something that I absolutely do understand. Like, I don't, yeah, I commend anyone who could have read it from start to finish without struggling. I really do. But like I'm saying, if you can soldier on, it's worth your while. It's a beautiful story. And it does pick up pace. Okay, pace for me, I'd say it does pick up pace after, because it's divided into three books, right? There's a prologue, three books, and an epilogue. So after book one, it does pick up a bit of pace, and I think it helps that book two is a little bit short, so it moves it, if you get what I'm trying to say, and it does get better and easier to get through. um Charlie says, loved the gold diggers and the fishermen. You weren't here at the beginning, Charlie, and I was saying I'm only on page 18 of the gold diggers, and I've already cried. It's messing me up already. um she says she's reading Muriel at Metropolitan, the Deep Mexican Gothic, Furai, and I hope to start Ray Berra or Rosewater. See, I love people that read multiple books. That never used to be me, but I'm seeing that this is the season that I'm in, and I'm actually enjoying it. I really am. Dineo says, oh yes, for Zandile, the Resolute. Yes, I love that entire series. We'll see. Will she be covering the other brothers' love lives as well? I'm not sure, but she's doing something quite extraordinary right now, because this month she took out Ikunga, which is the fourth book in the series. Next month she's bringing out a mess. I want to say it's a mess, the mess, something about a mess, okay? Which is book number 5. The series is 6 books. Long, and rumor has it that she might take out the 6th book in December. So October, November, December, she's giving us 3 books. So if you haven't gotten a hold of the other books, so it's Tomo the Wife, it's Zandile the Resolute, it's Naledi His Love, it's Ikunga, it's that mess one that I don't know, and I think the last one is called The End. I might be wrong. So get yourself in there, and I'm hoping that, because I know that there are 8 brothers in all, but because she's done 6 books, I'm just hoping that she indulges us with the other brothers as well. That is my hope. Okay, Charlie says, I didn't like the narrator for The Shadow King. I have so many books to read, so I have to move on from books that I'm struggling with. That is also true. There is no need to push yourself. If you really can't do it, then you can give it away. But I was saying, if you're reading along with the narrator, I read her at, my sister was laughing at me, at like 1.8 speed. That helped me a lot, actually, like, because I didn't like her slow paced reading, but when I fast forwarded her, it was a bit better. Charlie says, yay, you'll cry a whole lot more than, guys, and I want to finish this book this weekend. I can't with the gold diggers. I really can't. Ompile says she's super excited for Ikunga, mess, and the end. Okay, it's not a mess or their mess. It's called mess. Because I keep confusing it. I'm like, is it the mess? A mess? Mess. It's just mess. Okay. Yes, those are the last 3 books, and they're all coming out this year, as far as I know. Danelle said she wasn't aware there was a 4th book. I cannot wait. I'm invested in those brothers. I think I heard something about it having gone for reprint, so it might be sold out. But just watch out. I'm sure it's already sorted out. But just look out and maybe place an order at your nearest bookstore for whenever they have copies. But yes, it sounds like it's gonna be an exciting ending to the story. Charlie says, I only read at 1.8 speed. Oh, you only read at maybe I should try that. Yeah, try that. I read at 1.5 at the most. This is the only book that I also wanted to push it to 2, but 1.8 made sense. I could still hear her and I could still follow while I was reading. So yes. Charlie says, Bokamuso says, Charlie is me. If I don't get beyond 50th page, I'm going to leave it alone. COVID taught me that life is too short to struggle through books. Guys, only 50. I pushed till page 100. Page 100 is when I'm like, okay, you and I were not meant to be. I can't, I'm not following or I'm not liking, then I'm giving up at page 100. But I get what you're saying. Some books are 100 pages long, so maybe I am giving too much mercy there. Yeah, so that's all I had for you guys. What are the rest of you guys reading, or did you have a good reading week this past week? And are you intending to pick up any of the books that I've mentioned? Poetikai says, I usually push through the first 100 pages too. Exactly, that's what I do. But I had somebody say to me, what I'm saying to you is something that somebody else said, that some books are 100 pages long. So you've pushed to the finish of a certain book and you still are not getting any gratification. So why are you still soldiering on? But I seldom DNF. I seldom DNF these days. But I think the books that I've managed to read this year have been quite exceptional, and I think it also came from allowing people to recommend books to me, because I wanted to read from the continent, and I haven't been disappointed. I don't want to lie. Yes, I had the few 3 out of 5s, but mainly it's been 4s, 4.5s and 5s, and I've been loving it. Poetikai says, I think Shadow King is gonna be a definite for this weekend. Thanks, Vuvu. Try it, and if you also feel like it's difficult, if you can access any audio, read along with the audio. If it's still not working for you, like Ompile said, life is too short, hey? Give it a rest if it doesn't work after that. Thank you guys for tuning in and spending some time with me. I always appreciate these moments, and I'm always psyched up for Friday reads. So happy reading week and happy reading weekend. Maybe I should say weekend before week. Happy reading weekend and happy reading week. And I can't wait to discuss the Shadow King with you, Simoli. She says, I'm only soldiering on with the Shadow King because of book club. Yes. On Sunday, we are chatting, and on the Vuvu Vena Reads book club on Facebook, we're chatting about the Shadow King tomorrow. So I can't wait for those discussions, and enjoy your reading week. Bye!